This is Weird Renegade Witches blog. It is up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the Weird Renegade website. Click onto the link of Blog Talk Radio. As you guys already know, I've been in conversations of bringing back Blog Talk, something a little different, putting the process together, connecting. However, you already know Wayward is about that revenge, redemption, responsibility, that spell work, that occultism, because art is occultism. Occultism is a motherfucking art. And as you know, the monthly lessons have already started, which is different. Those are monthly one-on-one lessons. So I've decided to still go back and do the energies for this month of altars. People have been having a lot of questions in reference to their frequency. However, separate from the monthly lessons, I do the one-on-one, where of course I work with people in their frequencies and their spiritual guidance, which sometimes it incorporates, of course, work, but understand work is separate from the one-on-ones that I do with individuals. Okay. However, I'm going to be in Cancer frequency because I'm going to be all over the place, and I'm going to address some things that I'm noticing in the universal soul, and it's very clear there's a new uprising in Pan-African consciousness behaviors. And you have to be careful that you're not being pulled up and pulled in to some fake ass hoodoo, voodoo, Ifa, black nationalist fake shit that they're trying to produce. And hear me say black nationalist fake shit, because these niggas not on the real shit. Let's have a conversation. I have a whole thing because I have questions and so on, right? And someone in my comments, I want to address something in my comments, because I like to look at people frequency, because I like to look at people frequency in the comments, because I like to see where they're at and then pull that energy so you can understand how people create and design and throw fire and air language at you. That's a form of spell work. So let's talk real and talk right. So that's why I made sure to wear the motherfucking hair to create the energies that I need, because this is the problem here. This is a problem with some motherfuckers. Anyway, in my comment, I had someone say to me, and I'm just going to paraphrase it, and they said, beloved. And then within the beloved, they say, in so many words, they are paraphrasing, you don't like people to talk about you. Then they went on to educate me, philosophize, give me a reading about why black women and women allegedly, so many words like myself, wear hair. In paraphrasing, they're saying that I have low self-esteem, that basically I'm an Afro-Caucasian. And there's something that I need to hide, right? And I notice this energy have been flying around, especially on social media. So they've gotten back on the black woman doesn't feel good about herself because of the hair that she puts on her head, right? Because I went and I was looking at something. Let me see if I can find it. Is it said here? Yeah, here it is. I was on social media and it says DJ underscore farmer underscore one. And it's this black woman who looked like a Pan-African woman. I'm going to call her Pan-African. These are my codes. Okay? So she's discussing how black women are wearing peasant, I'm going to paraphrase it, peasant hair, meaning Indians cut their hair, and therefore you're wearing their human hair on your head, and these are peasants. And it said bad luck and hair weaves. Okay, let me tell you something. I remember having this discussion and talking about that a minute ago, after I seen the frequencies that in India of them cutting off their hair down to the hair follicles. Is more than just transfer of personality and frequency. It's also transfer of DNA. It is another form of blood sacrifice, because when you cut and pull hair from the hair follicles, that is the number one closest thing to your blood and DNA. That's why in many energies, they could use that energy to catch you. If you on drugs, they can pull out your hair follicle and see years of drug use, see what you're going through. Do you understand? Through the hair, you could see sicknesses, you could see a whole bunch of stuff. You pull out a strand of hair and you look at it under a dang is it a microscope, you could see kind of the ridges and you could read the frequencies within that. So even though they cut it off, it is correct that you are obtaining someone else's frequency, right? But hey, but we're not going to stop there. We might as well go into people cutting off their dreadlocks, and then people coming back in, binding the other people dreadlocks, even if it is the grandmother, uncles, whoever it is. So across the board, there is a frequency that we have to be careful of and messing around with human hair. Now, the issue that I have with this, not that her statement, is her diagnosis of the energies. For one, she tried to say, I get triggered by people. That's a misdiagnosis there. So she tried to do a reading, but slippery slick come in with, I know you don't like people talking about you. No, it's not the fact of that, because sometimes we need to talk about this. No, it's the fact that I address what they're talking about, because people think that they're up here Dr. Phil and shit. So they look at me in a certain way. One, I'm a big girl, so they already reading up in the fat rolls, and they reading every fat roll like, okay, well, because she fat like this, because this was going on right here. So this is this, because this fat roll right here. No, this is an overlay of a fat roll, and it comes this way. Oh, she got belly fat. Okay, well, you see how this go right here? This is what's wrong here. And then she got on a wig. Okay, you know what's going on with that. Oh, wait a minute, she has a double chin. You know what that means right there, right? That's not spiritually guided, because if she's so spiritual, she wouldn't be fat. She'd be a vegan like us. So, and she just on the internet talking. Because she ain't got shit to do with her fucking life, because she's a fat ass. So let me read into her and coordinate the wig shit. Because that's what people be thinking. Then the other part of it is her using the word beloved. We have to be careful of words. I used to be very annoyed when I used to hear Iyanla Vanzant talk to people and say beloved. Using that word love is a demon, because they can use that, and that can tap into a person to make them believe there's a care. But you're really belittling someone. You're really playing a game with someone by using that word. Even in the Bible, it says to love, but that is a frequency that's not real. You're talking into yourself to tolerate someone or to even belittle them. Even when you hear Monique say that weird stuff, I said, that's a phony ass bitch there. My son yesterday was looking at BMF. I had no clue Monique was on BMF. So I'm looking at BMF, and I'm looking at that whole energy. And I'm like, do we say Monique? I didn't went to 11 for the cancer. I said, do we say Monique is a good actress or actor? Or do we say she's playing herself? That woman is playing herself. Every time I see her in some dark ass shit, I said, that is her. It's like what I was saying about, I was talking to people, I was telling them, and I was talking about Lorenzo Tate's older brother. I guess Lorenzo Tate has this older brother that's always in movies. And I said, he's a dark nature. I said, how come we really don't see him? And I said to them, I said, I think Lorenzo Tate is, when he do those dark roles. And remember, like Menace to Society and their presidents and shit like that. When you kind of see him in darker energies, it just seems like I'm just using it as a cattle, like he's pulling from a dark place, and see like he's pulling from that brother, because that brother has a whole other frequency. What's his name? Ahmad, or I'm not sure, but he has a whole other energy to him that I felt that wasn't developed in full, because I like people who are dark and they're pulling from somewhere, right? Just to say all that, when people come at you, talk about love, but in this case, the word beloved. The word beloved has an energy behind it. It is a form of spell work, a form of, in simple form, voodoo, witchcraft, and bewitchery. And when someone says beloved, my beloved, that means they are downplaying you. You are underneath their feet. You are considered the second, because I'm going to educate, I'm going to trump you, I'm going to have sympathy and empathy, I'm going to have compassion for you because you're misunderstood, or you miseducated, or you don't know, or let me be the elder, beloved. Even if you two are the same age, there's a trumping spirit. This whole new upbringing that we are having to adjust to, we have a new energy coming up that believe that they are what I call the new neo-Pan-African consciousness. And now they're trying to make their place. So they're coming back at you, and they want to talk about what the black woman looked like, what this, what that, what this, what that. But none of it means anything, because it is recycled rituals. I had somebody in my comments say, don't use the word, so many words, black, because you're invisible. Well, I'm going to get to some shit, because when I hear that, I already know where you're coming from. There's something going on with black people that they don't fucking get it. Okay? So let's have a conversation about this. Because we need to put a stop to people playing games. Like, okay, yesterday, like last night, Pacific time, somebody texted me talking about the spirit has a question for you. I immediately blocked that person, because I don't want to see or having to look at what the fuck you talk about. If you hit me up, an occultist for the spirits, trying to tell me the spirit has a question for me, bitch, you the Antichrist. You ain't shit off the bat. They ain't shit you can even tell me. Because nobody that you didn't ask questions to, that you not sitting down with, should be coming to you saying the spirit has a question for you. That, again, is an energy of beloved. That's an energy playing games. That's an energy trying to trump. That's an energy trying to see in you. That's an energy taking time to do work and trying to read into you. That person didn't understand when they sent that text. You just gave me insight into what you're doing. Because no one just comes up with this shit unless your ass is sitting down. You're not going to be sitting on your bed and all of a sudden, you know what, Wayward? Go ask that bitch this question over here. Text her and ask her this. Fuck no, hell no. That's what I'm talking about having discernment. Because people are power tripping in the spirit right now. They are power tripping. They are practical. They are carnal right now. That fake ass eclipse has created another uprising in the spiritual world of Trumpers. This behavior reminds me of when I was in my Ifa house and everybody thought they had the big balls. Everybody wanted to tell you what it is and what it ain't. Don't let a bitch be the daughter of Yemaya and she got all her alekes and all that shit and crowned the fuck out, and she has the water and rolling and turning around like a fucking tornado and then throwing the water out in the street. I said, isn't that supposed to be what Oya doing? See that what I'm talking about? And then she thinks she the shit, or we not gonna talk about them sisters. I'm talking about the God sisters up in the house that think they the shit, and you don't know that the Bible out fucking all them bitches. And they up there side-eyeing you, looking at you, and you may not know as much as them or been in it longer, and they treat you like shit. And everybody trying to tell you the grand poobah of it all. And when you really get down to the root of it, all of them fucked up, including the Bible owls. However you want to say it or do it, they all fucked up. I was just telling someone yesterday, I said, sometimes we got to be careful of people. I don't trust people that sit up and want to come to you and tell you what the fuck you're doing. At least when I'm saying it, I'm always saying my business included. I remember I had a friend who was gauging me, trying to read into me. So she felt that I was just telling somebody this story. She felt that I, in so many words, wasn't raising my son right. And she was going to school for psychology. And she said, I want to sit down with your son and talk to him. I said, really? She said, yeah, I want to talk to him because I feel that your son is depressed and I just want to get down to the root of it. I said, okay, you could talk to my son, but can I teach your son how to read? Because he don't know how to read. So you know, I could teach him how to read because I could teach him how to open that book up and teach him the phonics. Because it doesn't make sense for your son to be 11 years old and he's still at kindergarten level. So let's do that exchange. You see the shit I'm talking about here? And she was like, what? Wait a minute, what? I said, yeah. If you want to sit down with my son, let me sit down with your son that's illiterate as fuck. And this is why you also need an Aries in your life. And Aries in your life, you may not like them, they motherfuckers, but they some truth tellers. They will tell it. They will put people back in line. When you up there thinking that you not this, you not that, fuck with Aries. They'll tell all of people business. They'll say, hey, I don't know why you tripping off that motherfucker. He over there doing da-da-da-da. What? I remember my brother who's an Aries, he had me cracking up because his ass was like, call me up. You know, your cousin, yeah. You know that bitch up in the gambling shack. I said, excuse me? Yeah, nigga. She up in the gambling shack playing dominoes. That's why she don't have any money. That's why she up there when you ask her for help or whatever, she talk about she doesn't have it or she's trying to put it somewhere else. No, she don't got no money. Because she gambling it all, playing dominoes. I said, you see what I'm talking about? Anyway, let's have this conversation over here. Here's some energies, because I'm going to get to something. Because earlier, they so worried about hair. They worried about black women wearing fake extensions and all of that. They're creating plant-based hair. But instead of worrying about our hair, why don't we make money in it? If you got fucking Indians, why are we not in it making money? Why are we not creating products to sanitize and disinfect whatever? Because you're not gonna stop no black women from wearing hair. So we gonna cut that out. Because first of all, we don't have the beauty shops and the hair care individuals anymore in the business. My beautician, I used to have long hair. I cut my hair off, everything. I used to have hair thick as fuck. And I'm going to keep it real with you. You damned if you do, damned if you fucking don't. My hair, because my mother used to hot comb my hair. Then I went to my beautician, Gigi, from 12 all the way to adulthood. The girls in my day, we had our hair. Then later they add hair with weave pieces. But we have beauticians and healthy hair and products and this and that. We used to get our hair done. I used to be so fucking annoyed when my cousin would go get her hair done. I'll go with her and we sitting up there for 5 and 20 hours. But we was getting our hair done. So where are the resources? I was looking at various 90 videos. We had our hair short, long, curly, wavy, whatever. If we want to talk about our hair. We barely know the history of hair. When I was in school, I had to study all that makeup, and I'm talking about when I was in art school. We had to learn how to make wigs. You don't get? They used to make wigs out of scalped hair. Meaning, so let me tell you something. So when I say aboriginals or aborigine, when I say indigenous, I'm talking about as we call Indians. You don't get, in California, they call them the supposed 49ers or the gold miners, that they were really bounty hunters and they were up there scalping the Aborigine people, meaning the Black Indians, the Aborigine people, because I had to give it to you lame so you guys understand what I'm talking about. And I won't get to why I'm calling them Aborigines. They were scalping them. It was money to scalp. You had centuries of hair. Them using wool. They've been scalping our heads. Then we forget they started using horse mane. Then you have people talk about you using horse hair. So we have to understand the different frequencies of using hair, even alpaca, all of that. Hair is a design. We forget there are so many different tribal energies, and they all had different practices of hair, to bald, to little afros, to designs that look like Afrofuturisms, to hair braiding, to dreading, to, if we talk really after the Fiji people, we're not going to talk about what the Tongans were doing. So what is the fucking problem here? Now all of us have this or come from people with bald heads or certain type of hairstyles. That's why we're fucked up. What's going on here? That's why I just talked about makeup. Makeup, crystals of the earth, bugs, beetles, worms. Yes, they were using crystals back then. Meteors, emeralds to make makeup. Red dirt, swamp dirt. Boiling fish, cutting fish, drying out the fish scales in the sun, crushing it up. and creating various makeups and creams and whatever you guys want to call it. Okay? Anyway, let's talk about some things. We're over here having fake energy with this neo-Pan-African behavior. But my question is this. Why are we entertaining fake recitistas who are creating fake testimonials? Social media has become the church of testimonials that you guys don't even want to be in the fucking tabernacle. You have people buying testimonies to make like they are somebody, to make like their life is just so detriment to have people look and watch them. There's confusion right here. When did black people start to get on social media telling their fake ass testimony? Take your ass to the fucking tabernacle. You down the church, but then you get on the church of social media? You got niggas calling up other niggas to get sad stories so they can create their own atmosphere. You got other people watching other people on social media talking they shit, taking the likes of them, taking their voice, putting it on their page, and they're lip-syncing or lipping the person. You have more and more recitistas coming out giving fake ass testimonies, and you niggas listening to this. But the problem is you're building fake churches. When I see what's her name, Kiki Wyatt shave off her head and then want to create a church, that's an antichrist spirit. When I seen Black China allegedly getting into the Christianity world, that is the antichrist spirit. All of that's not real. And Christianity is going to go into a different frequency. There's a problem. Y'all out here recitising, meanwhile, you want to soul mount shit. It's kind of like the song by the Tiger Lilies. You got to be tragic to be magic. So everybody's trying to be tragic to be magical. Go listen to the song. It's called Heroin by the Tiger. I think by the Tiger Lilies. And the song says, go do heroin. But you worried about me being black and hair. I peeped and realized. I went back and I read the word. Really, really understand it. We so confused and mixed up with ourselves. And I told a spiritual constituents some energies. And she said, we are the lost tribe. We are Exodus. I went back. You have these people who have issues with the Bible. I used to be one of them until I had to get out of that consciousness to really understand the energies. I had to go back to Exodus. I had to go back to everything and understand some stuff. And more as I'm reading, the Bible is literally talking about us. And they clowning us in front of our faces. and they're giving us the blueprint of how to get out of it. But we're not listening because they've mixed so much shit in it that we don't have the discernment anymore. That's why I just said you ran away from the tabernacle to give your testimonies in air? Because for fame? When you read every piece of this Bible, you have to look at your fucking self. And it doesn't have to show you. You got to feel it to see it, to understand it. You don't even realize the way they orchestrated the Bible is to make the black woman look like a hoe. Harlot, Jezebel. All of that. When in reality, all the women in the Bible are in spirit. And when you go back and you really understand, you like, what the fuck? Why as women, black women, we not condemning Moses? Moses are black men. We let them lead us and they cause confusion in us. Because now I'm going to give you the flip side. They told us to let the black man lead. They're throwing it all on social media. The black man leads. But do you understand? In reality, that's wrong. The black man should not be the head. This is above y'all pay grade. It needs to flip in order. Because he has to be at the bottom to hold it together. When black men come talking about, oh, you serving that kid before me, you doing this, and she should. I'm the head of the house. No, you're not. Because then who's at the bottom holding it together? If you at the front, you fall if the black woman carries it, fool. That's why they keep putting the woman at the bottom. That's why we put spell work on ourselves. That's why we have all these dumbass shit going on. Talk about, oh, black women are gold diggers. No. We hold it up and been holding it up. Now, these new frame of females, I don't know. But in reality, the black woman has always held up the house. But her place is wrong. You guys didn't get the spell work? You niggas, you Pan-African conscious niggas are unconscious. Niggas are running around here saying, you're the guys, you're the head of household, you're this. No, you have to move the woman back at the top and you move your ass at the fucking bottom. Because you have to carry the household. But you worried about me being black in my hair. That's above y'all pay grade. You can argue that all you fucking want to. Talk about my man this and my man that. What are you talking about? Yo, black man been fucking up that he has you forcibly doing threesomes to please his ass. To be in a fucking polyamorous relationship? And you say this nigga the head when he has you at the bottom holding everything together? What kind of game and spell work is that? But you worried about me being black and hair. But you don't have questions. You don't have questions that Satan, devil, and Lucifer are all female energies. I'm going to give you different flips because I can do that because I'm a Cancer. You don't see the hate towards the black woman? There's the lady of the house. But if you put the black woman at the bottom, she carries the weight. Isn't that a cold game and a cold spell? We running around here trying to talk about hair when we don't even understand shit. I sat and I thought about something. Chinese, Indians, and I'm talking about East Indians, and Filipinos were put into slavery. They had them going to the Caribbean islands, Central and South America, into the United States. In California alone, they had Asians, they had Chinese, and Filipinos here. They're not talking about how they mixed in with the Aborigine people and created, for real, the Mexican culture. What are the fucking Spaniards? What is this language? It's all confusion. Tuskegee black colleges during the late 1800s into the early 1900s were accepting Chinese, Indians, Filipinos, and also what they call Afro-Latinos. Some of these people passed. The Chinese also passed, but they were going to the schools. You don't even know what your ancestral frequencies are. That they playing such a cold game with us with these damn immigrants. And this shit been going on. You up here thinking, yeah, I'm from Africa, I'm this and that. And your ass is right there from Central America. Didn't even know that your people are from Venezuela. From Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua. Then you wonder why, for real, some of our features look like this. How in the fuck some of them pictures may not have been of biracial kids mixed with white? And they said that's the slave master's kids. Are you sure? But we talking about what hair is. When we can't put a finger on our features. What happened to the whole reparations movement? It sound like they got the reparations, the immigrants. What? But you worried about me being black in my hair. What I have a wig on. And we not just thinking like, what the fucks? When you go back and you start to research 15 and 1600 writings about Europe, the Netherlands, and so on, you will find they were all black. And they describe it. So I said, hold on. They replaced everybody, especially in Ireland. They put them on these plantations, but apparently the Caribbean islands had the Aborigine people, the indigenous people. And then they mixed them over there and then incorporated all these other cultures, the Indians and Chinese and Filipinos, that created a whole different culture, religion, and foundation, which makes a lot of sense why the Eastern culture is so heavy in the Caribbean. We understand the other energies that are there. Then you have coming into Africa. Was Africa a legal plantation? Because they knew the future. So they created this energy called Africa with different name sources, but apparently it is a legal plantation. And they took different entities from different parts of the world and put them on this one continent, which is called Babel, which incorporates the islands. How come we never picked up that the Egyptian energy is just like the Aborigine people, Indians, when you start to look at their writings and their clothing? How did we miss that? How did we miss a lot of the names that we have in the various tribes of Africa sound like Indian names, like Ashanti, Zulu? Those are just simple forms. How come we just didn't peep that the whole West Africa most likely is the Western Society of the Lost Indians? We want to call it that, or the Lost Aborigine, the tribes. Who are these people? You want to talk about the Atlantic, how there's dead Africans and that's in the Atlantic. No, those are dead Indians from the land, coming from, we call the United States. But you worried about me being black, if I use the word black, if I wear a wig. We have dams, rivers, lakes that are man-made that are hiding bodies. We have shallow graves hiding bodies. We have bounty hunters purposely coming out at one time in the past, chopping off heads, hands and feet, burying bodies. I ask myself, if California was the gold mine state, especially San Francisco or the Bay Area, then where in the fuck is the gold today? Because they were talking about over there in Ghana and shit, how there's still gold rolling up and this and that and all these minerals. But where's that gold at? Was that a front? Because they said the gold allegedly paid for the Civil War. California paid for that. But where is it today? Because when you go into the Bay Area, you go to some parts of it, especially Contra Costa, you will see the old gold mines. And then sometimes you can hear water underneath. We don't want to talk about this. We don't have questions. We're, like I said, the doggone tribe, you don't know what's up. When my Aunt Julia said, I guess it would be my great-grandfather, is it great-great-grandfather? Whatever. Her grandfather, she said he was born on the Nile River. And I'm thinking Africa, then I had to think about it. Is she talking about the United States? But we worried about hair. Got you. We so worried about hair. We not even trying to go back. They were talking about $200 worshipers they found worshiping in a synagogue, and these people had, this is around allegedly the 1600s. They said these people had full lips and they were black. You know who wrote that up? Them white folks. They were going to all of these countries seeing melanated people. You have Mexicans out here being rude as fuck, talking about, well, black people always saying what they invented, what they didn't do, what they not do. I don't understand the attitude, because we don't want to get down with the cholo, what that really is, and what the real tribal energies is, and where that come from. Then your feelings will be hurt. Then you don't want to accept it. You don't understand that Mexico was all melanated. And they killed them and left you with that one little town of the original people. And what your excuses in Mexico is, well, they came from Nigeria. Bullshit. They were the original people. You had colonizers and motherfuckers coming over, mixing and matching and killing. If you start digging up Mexico, you'll find some interesting bones. Right? You want to ask about being black? They have a movement going on to get rid of Christian nationalists. Christian nationalists who don't believe in abortion and the certain aspects of government. They said, get rid of Christian nationalists. Here's the game. I was listening to something. I was like, what the fucks? Very closely, if we want to talk invisible and being black, right? Here's what it is. They talked about the United States of America, that once we were born, we talked about the birth certificates before. The United States of America is basically a corporate entity. And the bottom line, because it's a corporate entity and we claim citizenship, person of citizenship, residency of citizenship, and the united business, we are incorporated. That means if we are incorporated, we are considered cattle. We are commodity. We are not human. You have been forced into slavery. You have sold your soul to the devil. Your parents, I did it when they said once you sign that birth certificate and it's on bond paper and they take your foot and basically you see your baby's, his footprints, that is selling your soul. That's the soul, selling your soul. Therefore, you have sold your kid into slavery, into trafficking. That's why they can come in and take your kid. That's why they can come in and create all of these stipulations for your kid. That's why they can just come to your house and fucking arrest you and hold you fucking state property forever. That's why on your job they cut the fuck up on you. That's why they can do all this shit, because you have agreed to be an incorporated citizen of the United States of the Americas. Where one time we were a republic. That is what the Pledge of Allegiance was about, and they took the Pledge of Allegiance out. First, they fucked around with God. Then they just went and took it out, period. Because under that law, we were the government, and we created the different laws that were going on because we the people. If we go back to the 1700s, understand the frequency. And a lot of the energies was built on top of melanated people. Then they switched it on us, and the government became the creator of law. Therefore, that means, so when we have black people talking about we're sovereign, no, you are supposed to be a private nationalist. You are a nationalist. It's better to be a black nationalist. That means there's this document called an AOR. You guys can look it up yourself. It's an affidavit to revoke the citizenship of America, illegally putting you to work and creating you as a corporate entity. So therefore, when you hit me up and say, don't use black, you're invisible. Honey, you invisible as is until you become a nationalist. Because your nationality and you being born here, that is what it is. Do you see the spell work and bewitchery and witchcraft in that cold game and cold spell? And you wondering what the fuck is going on in this universe and why things are cutting up and why we being pulled into something? You wondering why shit was mandated? You wondering about the CDC and the FDA and all this? You wondering why Jeff Bezos? You wondering about Bill Gates? You wondering about all of this shit in government and politics and this and all this going on? We don't even have a fucking election. Who in the fuck is campaigning? But you worried about me saying if I'm black. You worried about a fucking wig. You can't even become a nationalist. You calling yourself a Pan-African and you born right here. You saying I'm African, you don't know what the fuck you are. That's a cold game, a cold spell, isn't it? And they pulled you guys away from militias because the militias are telling it. And the militias are laughing at us saying, you don't know? That's why they be clowning us. Rather you worried about what the fuck is going on with this wig, why don't you educate sisters to stop wearing them fucking wigs to bed and gluing it on their fucking head? And how it can damage their brain cells. Because they need their brain cells to understand this kind of shit of how we've been played. They got rid of the republic. California is a republic state. But they got rid of it. That's why they playing with this social crediting. They playing games. We are not citizens. These immigrants and migrants, whatever you want, but they're citizens. That's what the black sovereigns are not understanding. They need the documentation. So when they get stopped by the police, they have the right and the proper documentation. Be like, and peel off. Because they're not under this corporate entity of the United States of America. They are a state nationalist. So when we had Zulu Nation, that is correct. Zulu Nation, that is correct. Not Zulu Indian. She don't know what she talking about. Well, look it up for your fucking self. So talk to me when you understand some motherfucking spell work. Instead of calling me or trying to text me, talk about what spirit is trying to fucking ask me. Ask yourself that. Ask spirit why you don't understand this. Right? What's her name? Danielle Johnson? That girl? The one that allegedly killed her boyfriend, husband? Her? Danielle? They said she was a healer and all that, and she was in Woodland Hills. And she's supposed to be this person that is I think a singer, Zodiac person and healer, and they making fun of her, saying she didn't went from being a healer to an eclipse killer. Now you got niggas running around here talking about, oh no, I'm not fucking around with that. Check this out. I already told you and warned you and said that they're going to create occultism as a psychosis. And they're always going to start off with black people first. They gave you guys the illusion that this woman is a healer and she was suffering all along. No, that lady was a fraud. That lady was a ranch. Okay? And a lot of things doesn't make fucking sense with that whole Zodiac shit. And what I'm saying to you in the first place, we shouldn't even be fucking around with charts and Zodiac and all that shit. Most of the time, and 99% of the time, it was white folks that was doing Zodiac. You be mad as fuck when you find out in the Bible that fucking God was really a fucking Aries. Jesus was really a fucking Cancer or Taurus. You will find out fucking Mary Magdalene's a fucking Scorpio. Mary is a fucking Pisces. Abraham is a fucking Capricorn. Astrology is all up in that Bible. And number systems. You be mad as fuck that they sat up and took the blueprint of what it really is, confused and told you the Greeks created this and created that, and they did not. And they took things and just mixed it all up and know the real secrets of it. You'll be mad that Solomon is fucking Pluto, the planet Pluto. Did in Exodus they say that you need to see shit? Anyway, they said that girl was arguing with her child's father. I don't know if they married or not. And what's her name? Ikea? How was she? It was Ayoka, but her name is Danielle Johnson, correct? Is it Mystic Lipstick? And it says recording artist and astrologer and healer. Well, something doesn't make sense. So they said in her Woodland Hills apartment, they said that at 3:40 there was an argument. But then they said the guy, her husband, I'm going to say her husband, got stabbed at 3:40. Then they said they heard him arguing and screaming at 4 p.m. If you don't catch the numbers in this, then allegedly she headed down, got in her car, got on her Porsche vehicle, rode, and was speeding. And they said she threw her 8-year-old out the car. She threw her 8-month-old out the car. Then they said her daughter was 9 years old, threw out the car, and a 9-month-old baby thrown out the car. Then they said that she tried to pull her husband out. Hold the fuck on for a minute. Her husband was in the military. So if she stabbed him, he's going to automatically fight her and do military tactics. So I have questions. Then furthermore, we never seen her get in the car. We just seen her drive away. But there's a camera. It's very interesting, especially down the highway. The camera picks up what it wants to pick up, but there's a high speed, right? And we're not going to see how she was throwing babies out the car. But my question is, how in the fuck do you pick up an 8-year-old or a fucking 9-year-old and throw them out the fucking window? What happens here? Furthermore, where was the child sitting? What happened? And the child going to fight. So we never seen this woman, and I'm just asking questions. You know, since you guys asking and telling me about being black and hair, so I'm just going to ask questions, right? Because I want to know, you asking, trying to tell me what it is, what it ain't. Can you answer these questions? Because this seems like, to me, air and fire magic. Because some people are like, oh my gosh, did you hear about this? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. No, my question is, what the fuck is really going on here? Because now you got black women talking about Zodiacs is a transfer of the womb, the parent, and your child Zodiac helps the parent understand who they are. If you have an Aries, if you have a Virgo, what cockamamie bullshit is this? And what unspirited crap is this? Because you have to read, if you're going to do zodiac horoscopes, whatever you want to call it, it has to be read in the spirit. That's why people always had trouble with me with zodiacs, because they want me to read it the way everybody else read it. Fuck no, hell no. Because my brother was an Aries and my mother was a Leo, and my mother could have put my Aries brother back up in her womb. We're up here adopting energies, and we're adopting these Kali energies. Kali is a hag. And I'm talking about the Kali is a hag. That's why you niggas running around here looking like hags and fucked up. Now, Kali with a C is different. Cali, that is a melanated energy, and that is an empress, which trickles down into the face of what we call America and the actual energies and frequencies of what the fuck it is, right? We have adopted this energy called reincarnation. And in the word, they would tell us, in Christianity, they would tell us, if you commit suicide, there is no coming back. That's a sin, because you have decided in your own will to basically take your own self out. Okay? But according to reincarnation, you get to come back. So here's my question. If one kills themselves, do they have the right to come back, and do we have the right to accept them if we want to play around, giggles, and laugh with reincarnation? Was that act very selfish and ego tripping? And does that person have the right to have a new body after they decided? How do you commit suicide and say, I want to come back as a baby brand new? Then you are carrying over your bullshit to this child that had life. Do we not think about that? How does the soul have the right to come back? And how does the soul have the right to come back without a cause? Is that why sometimes we feel that we just have bad juju? And is that bad juju ours? Because there is a belief, of course, that you transfer energies from the placenta into the umbilical cord to the child. Got that. But I'm really talking about people and souls. Do we have the right to transfer souls? Do you have the right to sacrifice someone and then steal their soul without a purpose? Is it spiritual selfishness? I seen something on social media with this woman. I don't know if she was stuck in a swamp or what, and the spiritual constituents had to put me in line. This was in New Orleans. I said, and I'm like, well, how come me being in Cancer, how come nobody helping her? How come nobody helping her? And I heard this woman say, don't help her. She's pregnant. You don't want to be part of that. I said, oh my gosh. And then I was talking to someone about it who's from Louisiana. And they said, she said, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but it kind of sounds like there was something else behind that. Like spiritually, right? And I had to think about it. I said, let me come back. I said, you know what? You're right. I said, it's almost like an abortion spell. She's pregnant and stuck in the water where both of them can die. Death work, bad juju. And whoever was telling that person not to help that person knew the fucking what's up. Sometimes we have to look at folklore energy. Now that's fucking hoodoo, bitch. We just talking, right? Did you see that shit with Glorilla being stopped for DUI? And she kept asking the cop, you don't know who I am? And the cop giggling. No, maybe she don't know who you are. Maybe because you didn't sat up and soul mounted gangster boo on you. Hell nah, she don't know who you are. With this fake ass DUI story. With TMZ. Remember I talked about Ted and that whole CIBS with microchips and Neuralink? Because you know, they getting it going with that Neuralink. And I talked to you about AIs and prosthetics. How about this new energy that they have? It's called Superhuman Wellness. PEMF mats, yoga mats. And all they do just to test to see if you have alkaline. This is supposed to generate alkaline into your system. They prick your finger, put it through a system and see how much alkaline or whatever is going on with you, right? So they created this energy. You can look it up. It's this person biohacking lab. That's why they creating these bio companies. And it's a PMF technology. And you sit on it for 8 minutes. So we're out here lacking our nutrients, our alkaline and magnesium that they have removed out of foods and stuff. I was talking to a spiritual constituent. She was like, I eat healthy. I make my own food. I eat my vegetables. I said, but they are basically stripping minerals from the vegetables. And they were talking about how, especially in Sprouts, they're spraying fruits and vegetables with chemicals. And they took a picture of it and showed them doing it. People out here doing eco burials, and they're putting their ashes and remnants or whatever body parts in fucking dirt. Now they want to create a mat, an alkaline mat, after they didn't strip the water of alkaline and magnesium. Meanwhile, they've created a new diabetes. But we didn't know this was connected to diabetes, allegedly, and you hearing it from doctors and people, called type 3 diabetes, which is dealing with Alzheimer's. I said, Alzheimer's? Type 3 diabetes? I had to sit back and think for a moment. I said, I can see that connection. Type 1, type 2, now type 3? That's a cold game, and that's a cold spell. As we talk about me being black, don't use the word black in hair. David Copperfield just about killed someone that fucking that magician. He didn't almost cause somebody to be paralyzed. And they suing his ass. And then the attorney for the other side, they didn't die. David Copperfield and them don't want to pay these people. He didn't sat up and did one of his fake ass tricks And a person basically has a brain injury and spinal cord issues. Did y'all think about the Hollywood Walk of Fame? It's about fallen angels, and you literally walking on fallen angels, and people think it's cute that everybody getting their fucking stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You a fallen star. You got Jodie Foster that got her handprints. It's like Hollywood then opened up. It's like something was blocking. And I have a feeling I was listening to something where they was talking about Paramount. It was some kind of lawsuit with Paramount during the 1940s, and I know before that it was different laws dealing with like profanity and stuff like that. But there was a whole energy that they said beforehand that the studios really kind of tapped into you and put money into you. Have stylists and groomers and all of that going on, and then out the blue around the 1960s all of that stopped, and people were in there. They had to, I guess they were in their own devices. So basically Hollywood did this shit where people had to figure out how they were going to get dressed, how they were going to move within the system of Hollywood. And then they created all of these energies that leads up today, and seem like now they are restructuring Hollywood to go back to its original state. And they were talking about how in Hollywood that later on that you have fashion houses hitting up these entertainers, say, hey, can we dress you? So they'll hit up the studios and try to hit up their managers personally. So that's how fashion houses grew, because the entertainers didn't have any other energies, because the these studios wasn't investing in them anymore. So then now they are changing the scope. So notice how the entertainers are trying to save these fashion houses. But now again, Hollywood is basically, I guess, trying to regroup itself and go back to its original state. Very interesting, right? I was seeing something about that girl from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Sierra Gates, and they said, and allegedly she can't walk because she got this one-sided tattoo going down her leg, and her leg swelled, and she's alleging that the numbing medicine caused some kind of reaction, and it seemed like this is a pretty big tattoo. I said, she's a fucking lie. Her body rotting. That's why she can't walk. Do you see all that fucking plastic surgery? And if it's so, she did get a tattoo. That most likely them rotting tissues that she have in her fucking body got infected. Their lying asses. How these black women up there fucking up their features and bodies, and then they're up there moving body parts around their body. But you so worried about me being fucking black and what fucking wig I got on my goddamn hair, on my head, and you not even talking about this kind of shit, a plastic surgery. Are we gonna talk about Magic Johnson's son who was up in that lace fucking outfit? Are we going to talk about these white women up there adopting black children, especially black boys, and turn them into girls? And you worried about some kind of fucking hair, beloved? Because you know I don't like people talking about me. I just want you to talk right. Because how in the fuck does this happen? A tattoo artist understand the health of doing tattoos and how it's supposed to be done. So what tattoo artist would she go to that she had this one tattoo done at one time talking about the numbing cream really worked? No, you have fucking plastic surgery done to your fucking body with rotting tissues. Sierra Gates, that's the realities. Let's really talk about the witchcraft. Right? And you know what? I'm about tired of these white folks. I'm about tired of them harassing us. I'm about tired of these white women, who birthed a whole nation of ill manners. Because white women are becoming real beside themselves. They want to get in your face and roll their eyes at you and harass the fuck out of you now. I'm talking about what it is. I'm talking about them committing hate crimes. It's just like when I seen Iverson, his statue, that little minion. They are sending a signal to us that you niggas ain't shit. Niggas ain't shit. You just little. They went and tore down Jackie Robinson. I talk about this, his statue, cut off the feet and burnt the body. Do you know that's a hate crime? And they didn't talk about that hate crime? They were talking about in Boston, I think her name is Fern Cunningham, who basically designed this statue in front of, I forgot what library in Boston. And they were talking about how them Irish just erased the soul of blackness out of Boston. Aren't you guys tired of them fronting off black women as if we are credit card thieves? All we do is steal credit cards. The propaganda, right? I'm not saying what it is, what it ain't, because I know what it is and what it ain't. But I want to talk about these white folks. I want to understand how in the fuck it's okay for white women in Virginia to buy a life-size slave doll as a woman and then call it mammy. I'm not your fucking mammy. Because they got shit fucked up. Or creating allegedly mandingo candles. As you worried about what the fuck I'm doing, this is the real shit, right? Why are niggas going over there to the honorary white people country cakewalk and showing them how to dance and shit? I'm talking about Japan. And China. I'm just asking questions. How come they coming up now talking about in Detroit, the white people were benefiting off of black resources? I have a question. This good times, my son was looking at this good time stuff. I was insulting it, and I told my other son he can't look at it because it's very much insulting. Steph Curry. That's what you call an Afro-Caucasian. Wanda Sykes, Afro-Caucasian. This should be very shameful in this day and time. I believe her name is Sade Robinson, the young lady who went and got caught up with Maxwell Anderson, the motherfucker who sat up and chopped her fucking body parts up. But then social media have taught black women, young black women, to go and seek others. Seek a Chinese, seek an Asian, seek a Korean, seek an Indian, seek a white boy, seek Arab money. Sugar daddies, sugar babies. She done got caught up with a psychopath, and that motherfucker looked crazy. And then to find out this Maxwell Anderson was from a rich family. This is a Milwaukee story. This white boy, and I guess they were hanging out, and then the family got concerned, and then now they're up there trying to do air and fire magic, and say, well, she wasn't technically at the house, but her body parts were spread around. Well, where are her fucking organs? Because remember, that's the new energy, right? To sit up and fuck with black women and black guys. Either you're up there getting fucked and getting loads in your ass, because that's what they want, because they want to suck your energy, gay black men. Or black women, they want to fuck with you like that just to steal your organs. As well as men. Remember that shit with Hillary Clinton's friend? When he was up there getting black guys, tying them up and drugging them with fucking crystal meth and heroin? You better be careful out here. I have a question. I was on a live looking at a cooking lesson. And the lady was like, oh my gosh, David Letterman is dead? Oh my gosh, I have to look into that. Because somebody put it in the chat. A couple of people put it in the chat. And she was like, oh my gosh. This was Eastern time, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time 3:45. I looked it up. I said, I don't see where David Letterman is dead, comedian talk show. I said, what the fuck is going on here? Where? And this was in the person that I was looking at, she was in the East Coast. What the fuck? Have y'all looked up Ruby Frank? The as they said, the famous YouTuber, social media star, who is having an incestuous relationship with her kids and tying them up and binding them in lesbian relationship. Recently got convicted, but they sure threw that under the rug. Look up Ruby Frank, because we're going to talk about these white people. Are we going to talk about Charleston Weathers? He was, I guess, on a Food Network, I don't know, in a competition. And he didn't set up and ghosted his whole motherfucking wife with their 2 kids. And she couldn't find him, so she had to put the dogs out on social media. And found his ass cooking for the dude on that produced or direct Yellowstone. You know, you guys want these white boys. Gotcha. Are we going to talk about how more and more white men are running to India to buy the boys? Little baby boys? Are we going to talk about organ transplant personality change? Are we going to talk about how in I don't know if it was Korea or China that they didn't pull the level 16, this movie called Level 16? You so concerned about what the fuck black women doing with their hair. Are we going to talk about how in I don't know if it's China or Korea, because I was trying to see, because I didn't understand what they were talking about, because it kind of sounded like Cantonese to me. However, just imagine your friend's child is missing. And you're like, oh my gosh. And you driving down the street and you see somebody that looked like your friend's daughter. And you call the police and say, that's her right there. And then they go and say, no, you need to come with us. And they take you to the precinct and they looking at you to find out it is not the girl. It is a woman who's 50 years old and sat up and took the skin of the girl and basically sewed it on her fucking face. And the police did a whole press conference about it. I was like, what the fuck? And they said, these are missing girls. This woman is 54. This woman is this. I looked at something else and they were talking about the age of these women. And these are all missing females. And they then took the skin and mounted it on their face. But we're talking about hair. If they doing that there, do you know what the fuck they doing here? We out here tripping about O.J. Simpson. They out here lying on O.J. Simpson. I remember when the whole shit went down. Let me tell you, just like this and just like now. When you go in that area, and if you, I don't know, it's a video we did back in, I think it's 2022. It was Pop Smoke. Was that the one with Pop Smoke? No, it's another one. I don't remember. I knew it was 2022. Anyway, we went over there. We did this whole effect over there, right? And I think we went over, because Ron Goldman lived up the block from that house. Because they was just at an Italian restaurant. He worked at this Italian restaurant. So anyway, allegedly, she left her glasses. Allegedly, he drove down the block because he was going to go out. Allegedly, this is a news story that I don't remember. I was like, I thought it was something else. Anyway, there's an alleyway behind Nicole Brown's house, okay? Or do you call her Nicole Simpson? We call her Nicole Simpson. I don't remember. I don't know. Anyway, Nicole Brown, when you go behind that house, is in an alleyway. My question is, how did Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson ended up in front of the house, on the stairs dead, on the walkway dead, if they were in the back? Because it would make sense for him to drive up in the front and she come out and get it and go back in the house. Furthermore, that's a narrow street. The other part of it that's very interesting, just a little bit up from her, there is a dark ass alleyway. They said the Bronco was across the street. The way that woman was sucked, her life was sucked out of her, meaning the way her neck looked and the way it was open, that's a very messy energy, and you would have seen that in that vehicle. And you guys didn't peep when OJ was driving down the street. He was under something because his eyes were if you guys can find it, his eyes were like he was smiling and he was looking straight ahead like this. And his eyes were bugged. So I don't know what games is going on. Then now they're lying, talking about the jury purposely acquitted him because of Rodney King. That's a fucking lie. Had all them black women up there lying like fucks. No, you did not, because now you lying. You got Bruce Jenner up there lying. You need to worry about what the fuck your wife was doing in the game and them Kardashians. Because that's a whole energy. We need to be interested in the simple fact that everybody that was surrounding and knew of her are basically dead. And on some cold ass shit. Now they want to go back to the serial killer guy. So many energies, right? Now they want to return back to OJ's son and say he's a psychopath. Stop lying. This is a whole atmosphere. Now they're trying to say he hired the mafia to do it. Yeah, all right. That type of work. Meanwhile, they crucified the fuck out of OJ. But meanwhile, you have Robert Blake ass who sat up and killed the fuck out of his baby mama, again connected to an Italian restaurant. Remember that whole trial, Robert Blake? Have y'all seen Kodak Black, how good he looks? Who the fuck is that? What the fuck is going on here? We just talking, right? Did y'all see that shit in Dubai with that fake ass water? That fake ass clouds? What the fuck is going on? That shouldn't be going on there. They shouldn't be building out in the fucking desert in the first fucking place. What are they about to do with Dubai? Because they're over in Egypt, building Egypt up. Now, you know they're over there saying that Egypt really doesn't exist. That's really like an amusement park. That was the original energies of it. Now, that makes a lot of sense why you would see all those rich people over there. I'm just saying. We can't always believe what the fuck. See, the conscious community, they just rolling with whatever, but they don't know. Because especially the word that already told us with Noah's Ark. You can clearly see there's something going on. You can clearly see there's something up with Egypt. But anyway, they're building it up. Okay? But Dubai, they tore it the fuck down. It's very interesting they did this as more and more black people are going to live there and more. So something is about to happen. But this is very serious when people up there pretending to be God and basically using water to wash sins away. It was, and I see these bridges are still cutting up, huh? You got white people out here clowning, saying that Hella Keller didn't know a goddamn thing with her deaf and blind ass. They saying Stephen Hawking, his ass in that wheelchair, he ain't did shit. They're saying Beethoven, he was deaf as fuck. He didn't write no fucking music. This is white people clowning. I need to understand why in the hell the different world cast was over there fucking around with Kamala Harris at the White House. And we still don't know who's campaigning. Did you ask that? And why were they shouting out that Seals girl? Did y'all hear that story, that 1977 testimony to Congress from Kathy O'Brien talking about was it the 95th U.S. Congress, whatever? She was talking about she was trafficked by the Clintons, and she said that Bill Clinton and then was trafficking her and made her be a dope girl, and that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are both gay as fuck, allegedly. As you worried about my wig? Did y'all see that energies at Coachella? You know, Coachella is a very interesting, and my son was laughing at me because he said I'm not pronouncing it right, so excuse me. Did you see all those Generation X niggas at Coachella? Aren't you, the people, the youth, they're angry as fuck. They say they tired of those influencers and clout chasers at Coachella. They're up there performing and shit. Did you see Lauryn Hill? Did you see Will Smith? Did you see Busta Rhymes and all of them there? What the fuck is going on? Y'all so busy looking at Justin Bieber and fucking Jaden. Justin Bieber went there, performed, and went home. That I heard about it. They said he was done and he got in his car and bounced. I feel sorry for him. But you guys are bothered because he said nigga, nigga, nigga. But I do feel sorry for that kid. I don't know if this the real one or the fake one. I don't know. But he got ghosts. They had some interesting performers there. I know it's still going on today, but what it is, what it ain't, right? Coachella is where the dates are. And you know, again, in Southern California, there are different species of palm trees. And I'm still like interested in this connection. I'm telling you, from the gold rush to these the various dates and shit and Coachella, what is all of this, right? It's almost like the Garden of Eden. You know, there's been a lot of pimping and pandering going on, right? But how come we never thought of them pimps putting out insurance policies on these hoes and then collecting? Didn't y'all hear that story from this, what's his name, Corey Martin, the pimp? This, I don't know if this is an old story, but I found it interesting that he had a 200 grand insurance policy on his hoe. Better reevaluate what's up with that ranch and all this shit. Did y'all hear that shit in Texas about the teacher who was recruiting hoes for her daughters or for her son, so her son can pimp the girls? What the fuck is going on in Texas with this pimping and pandering and this CPS shit, and there's all this pimping going on? But the teacher was recruiting young ladies for her son to pimp. I have a question. When did K. Michelle have 3 #1 albums on Billboard, as she announced in Nashville? Are we going to address that in Canada, that they've been euthanizing kids due to depression because of the trans medicine? And they're talking about it, allegedly? Are we going to talk about this alleged Ozempic babies? That now allegedly Ozempic can increase fertility? I want to go back to Tokyo Toni. I want to understand, what was Tokyo Toni talking about when she was about to bust out Amber Rose in Hollywood and this Derek person? Who was she talking about? Are we going to address how they say don't give your routers back allegedly because it holds information? Like your internet routers and even your cell phones, and all they're doing is still collecting your information? Are we going to address how they're saying that your internet does not come from the satellite, that literally is coming from, they said, underground water, that there's a cable they said underneath the water? Bitch, what is underneath the water? The illusion. I'm just talking because you worried about my wig. Are we going to address this 2020 missing kid called Jalen? And he was found years later, this year, I think, in a fucking Buffalo attic. His brother was murdered after he went missing. Then his mother died after that. And now they found this young man who was 12, kidnapped 4 years old. Because you know Buffalo have some shit going on. Especially in 2020 with the whole drug game and people getting shot and killed and murdered. We're going to stop playing. Are we going to address these cults like Jehovah Jireh, the Mormons, and Seventh-day Adventists, of how they trying to lock up people in the psych wards. I have a spiritual constituent that she is in Seventh-day Adventist, getting out of it. That's a cold cult. And they tried to send the police to her house and tried to coerce her to come outside so they can lock her up, so her mother and them could get money. Because you know the Seventh-day Adventists, they behind a lot of asylums, bitch. And they going over there being missionaries. But here in America, they're also kidnapping motherfuckers, trying to kidnap them. I've had too many people telling me what the fuck Seventh-day Adventists would do, especially in DC and Maryland. She's been trying to escape them for a minute. That reminds me of this camp that they've been talking about on social media, these camps who kidnap kids so if they do bad things. And this one camp was very interesting. They said that in this particular bad kid camp, they have the kids in soiled clothes and other people's soiled clothes. They beat them and sexually assault them. Then in addition, they bound them up in tarp and in a fucking, they put them in a fucking sleeping bag first. They put them in tarp and then wrapped them up tightly like a burrito. And they call that burrito. Raven Simone. In this camp, they wrapped the kids up like a fucking burrito, hella tight, like coddle. And the person sits there so they can't escape. They're building more and more cults like this. But isn't that, what's that girl called, Bad Baby or something? Bad Body, the one who Dr. Phil locked away. Isn't that what she was trying to tell us? That he ain't shit and he went and had her on that ranch? And they was sexually assaulting her and abusing her. And we just didn't hear what the fuck she was saying, right? This is what she's talking about. Is this what the fuck Raven Simone? So Raven Simone sat up and told us she was a fucking burrito, as Michael Jackson told us he was a vegetable. And these motherfuckers getting wrapped up in fucking tarp. This is what I was talking about, transferring of souls. And they said that these kids be wrapped up so tight. So I said, well, damn, a burrito. I said, so it's a burrito with fucking foil over it? I'm just trying to envision. As you worried about my fucking wig and me being a beloved. Well, beloved, can we talk about this? Are we going to talk about Ella Gorgala, who is a whistleblower? She used to work for Estelle Lauder. And how they forcibly put her in a psych ward in New York, in Bellevue, broke into her fucking a hotel room. Her last name is spelled, I think it's Gorgla. They talking about more and more, that's what they're doing with whistleblowers. They're locking them up in asylums, breaking in. And the woman was like this. They broke in and she come walking in, the white woman. You're not in trouble. Due to what we learned, we want you to come with us to Bellevue to evaluate you. She's like, hell no, she going off. Police broke in on the side of her, EMTs outside, and this white woman talking real comfortable. You need to come with us. Then this other woman walked in, this biracial woman walked in talking about, we love you. This black woman going to fuck off. This is what happened with this black woman was about to happen to my spiritual constituent. The police was going to try to break into that woman's home to get her to come out. You guys fucking around with these, and Jehovah Witness, this new energy of it is nothing to undercover but fucking it's a fucking cult. We gotta fucking be careful what the fuck we get ourselves into out here. And when I heard this story, I said, that's what happened. That was about to happen to my. We haven't heard from Ella since. Social workers came. I said, why would all them people came talk about somebody called 5150? I said, they can't. She doesn't want to go. They can't take her. She was fully conscious, telling them, it's nothing wrong with me. Because it's nothing wrong with me. They forced her and kept her 7 days. This what happens when you're under United States corporate entity. They can lock you up for anything and everything. Anyway, we just talk and have a conversation. I just kind of wanted to address me being a hair-hatted hooligan and an Afro Caucasian because I keep calling myself black. We just trying to understand some things, right? I need to address me being a beloved. As you have to understand how people getting down in this universe, we have to understand the new New Age Pan-Africans and conscious community. Okay? On real shit. Because let me see here, didn't realize on April 8th, we were practicing Aleister Crowley's religion under the Book of Law. There's what it's called, the something equinox, which is under the Book of Law. You didn't know that we were part of that? See, some of you niggas act about, I don't believe in Satanism and satanic this shit. They just played you and had you practice under Aleister Crowley, called the Equinox of the Gods. After you guys was fucking around with 420 yesterday, they out here fucking around. You guys sitting up listening to Bobby Hemmett, and I understand respectfully. But you got to get past some of that shit and really get down to the root of the spiritual work that they playing. Especially fucking around with the number 8. It is to always have you in confusion. See, under the energies, he said the moon and the sun. But when you really look at how they playing, a circle that turns up itself. The number 8, a circle that turns up itself. You're constantly in friction. And 4 always equal 8, which equates. So when you start to look at the multiplication of it, you will understand you're in a fucking whirlwind. You're in a fucking Alice in Wonderland. You're in a fucking portal. You didn't fell down a rabbit hole. They didn't play you with Aleister Crowley effect, the equinox, whatever they call it. In his energy, you got the 420 going. You got Hitler's alleged birthday going. You have different meetings and prayers going on this month. They out here fucking around. Then you have the real energies of spring popping up. Then you got Taurus energy in effect. Man, they fucking around. Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches blog. It is up when you want some real motherfucking work done.